Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. I am Dory, and I am so excited to be joined by some of my favorite ladies ever in the podcasting universe. I have Anne with me
Hey, everybody.
and Jazzman
Hey, happy to be here.
and our friend Bree.
Hello, everybody.
And we're so excited to be talking about the Hallmark movie Girlfriendship. I am going to read a little synopsis of the movie, and then I want to dive right in and start talking about it because we have so much to discuss. So, after a booking mix-up, Samara's birthday getaway turns into a week-long journey where three friends rediscover passion, purpose, and romance. That's nice. Very concise, very to the point. So, I just want to start off by getting everyone's thoughts overall on the movie. How did you guys feel about it? What did you love? What did you not love? Tell me. I'm going to start with Jazzman. Tell me what you thought about this one.
Oh my goodness. This movie can be on repeat. It literally spoke to my soul. Like the ancestor says, this is the movie for you. This is the movie for healing, for romance, for friendship, everything in between. And also, I sat here like, wait a minute. Hallmark, you really giving us this cultural movie to dive in deeper into the Black experience. And I'm here for it, 100%. I love everything about it. But we have to go and talk about that ending, though, because I need some answers.
Preach. Preach. We are definitely, don't you worry, Jazzman. We are definitely getting to that ending. And also, I'm going to say the last quarter of the movie we are going to be talking about.
Yes.
So, Bree, how did you feel about it?
Look, okay, I was just taken aback by the fact that in the year of our Lord 2022, Hallmark gave us a Gullah Gullah Geechee movie. Like, what
I know.
is even happening? So
Incredible.
right. I mean, even, as, a Black woman from in the United States, like, have I been to that part of the country? I mean, I've been to Savannah. I've lived in Georgia. I've never actually been to South Carolina, but I mean, we all know about that, right? Like, that's one of the last locations in the States where, the African Americans that live there still like hold tight to that part of where we came from. So I was like, I cannot believe I'm seeing this on Hallmark, but I'm so happy. And Jazz, you like retweeted this woman on Twitter, her tweet, and I retweeted it after I saw yours. Like, she's from there, and she was just like, representation matters. She felt like Hallmark nailed it. And she was just so happy to see her culture on Hallmark like that. So kudos to them. Shout out to them. Anybody that wants to be a hater, please have a seat. I was so happy to see that. Like, what? Like, I just never in a million years. So yeah, good job, Hallmark.
Yes. Also,
Bravo.
can we give a shout out? Can we give a shout out to like the 90s Nick Jr. show, Gullah Gullah Island?
Gullah Gullah Island.
I was hoping someone would bring up Gullah Gullah Island. Yes.
Come and let's play together.
So good. Oh my gosh, so good. I'm so glad you brought up Gullah Gullah Island.
Yes.
It's the best.
I'm always like, what happened to little Simeon? Like, whatever happened to Simeon?
Oh, I loved that show.
They're still going strong, you guys. I do follow them on Instagram. Like the couple who's the mom and dad, they're going so strong in their marriage and everything. They're still representing the culture.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Love that. And what did you think of the movie?
I really enjoyed the movie. I just can't believe, like, in this year that we've had 2 movies with 3 leading Black women. Like, that's like so shocking.
Shocking.
like yeah, I can't even, yeah, I just can't believe it. But so I loved the three leads. I thought they had great chemistry together. I thought that, yeah, that they looked great. Their hair was, they did the same thing, kind of like different, hairstyles for each woman, which I really liked, just showcasing that. And I thought that Tamara and Brad James had good chemistry as well as the ladies. And I thought it was funny. I thought, it had, conflicts that real people have, the relation to just, people trying to support their family. That's a real thing people have to do. And, people, not really loving their job and wanting to, bring something they love into their work. So I enjoyed the representation a lot. There was one thing I do wish they would have showed, like maybe some more, because I felt like they barely showed like one activity that they did, like, and the actual part of the retreat.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So I wish they would have, which I
Yes.
know that's the time constraint with three women, plus you're trying to do a romance. It's just like so tight. But I wish that they would have showed like maybe one or two more like activities like all together. I forgot the lady's name, like her leading them in some more
Oh,
activities as a part
Ariella.
of the,
Yes.
Ariella, as a part of the retreat. That would have been, I would have liked to see that. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought they
What
did a good
about you,
job.
Dory?
Love seeing a different setting too, South Carolina. 'Cause
Yes,
it's
and I mean the
Yes.
fact that
on
it
Yes.
started out in
location.
Kansas City, you guys. I was like,
I
Kansas City is
know.
home for me. Like, oh my gosh. But I
That's
forget, like, that's where
amazing.
Hallmark is. Yeah.
That is
Mm-hmm.
true.
I loved
That's what it
that.
is.
I loved the setting too. I am really with Jazzman on this. Like, I liked this movie, but it also really hit me personally in a way I wasn't expecting with some of the themes and the messages. I was kind of like, I I messaged you all in the group and I was like, I'm crying. I'm like boo-hooing and
No.
I wasn't expecting to.
Yeah.
I loved the trailer and I was really excited with all the previews and the promos, but I don't, you can like a movie without feeling a like personal
Oh
kind of
yeah.
connection to something.
Mm-hmm.
But in this
Definitely.
one, I liked it and had that kind of personal, like,
Mm.
I got a personal connection there. And I feel like I was getting a message kind of about my own life and goals and, you know, trajectory and staying true to who you are. And I really appreciated that. And I totally agree. I thought Tamara Mowry Housley and Lindy Greenwood and Crystal Joy Brown had amazing chemistry. And Brad James,
Oh
Ooh,
not
man. Wow.
not
that
tough to look at that one.
At
part.
all.
That is a handsome man. I mean,
That
just really, really.
that is a
He was his shirt
handsome
off. That's all he
man.
was missing.
Look, okay, I know that we all have our Hallmark favorite hunks, but okay, it's time to let some of these, I don't want to say hidden gems, but like he does not need to be in this one and he does not need to be a one and done, okay?
Oh
Like
Absolutely
no.
not.
he
Period.
needs to be
Period.
a new Hallmark favorite hunk because he's
Yes.
he's stunning. Okay, Dory, like
Yes.
what was the first moment where you were like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm overwhelmed with emotions right now."
I think when they got to the retreat and they were sitting there and this was not the vacation they expected, this was not the vacation they planned. It was you kind of slowly got to see that maybe this was something that they all needed.
Yeah.
And in that first activity where they're talking about, losing your joy and trying to find it again, and how so often like life happens and we get so consumed by work and the day to day that we forget that life is also to be lived and to be
Yes.
enjoyed.
Yes.
And that really hit me. Like, it really hit home that we're all, working and we're doing all these things that we have to do, but what about what we want to do? What about what we
Mm.
love? What about like our lives makes us us? And so I started thinking about that during that scene. And then what really drove it home was the scene where they were all picking the things
Like
best
represented
described
them.
them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I was bawling during that scene. I thought it was so beautiful. And we see Samara bless her paintbrushes, like that
Mm.
scene
Ooh,
where she puts them in the water
Oh
and you
yeah, I
can
lost
see
it
her
there.
skills.
crying. I
Skills.
was
Yeah.
bawling. Like
Yeah.
it was so beautiful to me to see someone who has lost a part of herself regain it and bless it.
Mm-hmm.
It was I thought that scene was incredible while Wade in the Water was playing, that
Woo!
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
Come
rendition
That.
of
home. Come
Wade in the
home.
water.
Yeah.
Let's
That was
preach.
moving
Preach
for
today.
Okay,
me.
like
Yeah.
history student moment. Like I had a moment where I was like, "Oh my gosh, they are literally on the coast of South Carolina." Like we
Mhm.
all know the slave trade was big on that side, and here's
Mhm.
this black woman like standing on the edge of the
Mhm.
United States where who knows how many enslaved people were brought, and she's like putting her paintbrushes in the same water. It just was
Mhm.
a moment, you know? I think if you just
Mhm.
really sit back and look, it's like, wow, this is a moment, you know?
I have chills even just talking about it right now. Like it was so profound to me. I watched it multiple times. Like I saw it the first time and I'm like crying and I just watched it again and again because there was something so like transcendent about it to
Yeah.
see a woman like reclaim herself and like you said Bree in that water on that coast. I thought it was beautiful. It was perhaps one of the most beautiful scenes and most moving scenes to me that I have seen in a Hallmark movie, without
Yeah.
question.
I
Yeah.
agree with Dory 100%. This felt like the most realist movie I've ever watched on Hallmark that was so connecting to me. Like
Mhm.
for all with the ceremony in general, I sat here like I want to do a ceremony like this. I want to
Mm.
feel healed. You know, what do I want to burn?
Mhm.
What do I want to bless? What do I want to give? I'm like, this is what we need. This is what I hope other people in Hallmarky who are not African American, who are from different cultures, see, wow, this is beauty. See, the depth that we're not all different, no, but we have these traditions that are still alive, that are still moving on to the next generation. And this is just beautiful. Like, I will literally watch the scene over and over again. Like, I'll ask, the Oscars, please just give them an Oscar just for this scene only. For this scene only.
She was I mean, Tamara was that was just acted perfectly. There was not one
Yeah.
word in that scene that she spoke and you still were so moved. That's not
Very.
easy to do. Like
Yeah. Very
seeing those
moved.
tears falling down her face but the smile on her face when she stood up, like,
Yes.
oh it was just such a powerful I feel like I'm going to hold that picture in my mind for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing.
I think it was that scene because I'll be honest, y'all, I was nervous because I was like, okay, we're getting this pretty quickly after Unthinkably Good Things. Another
Mhm.
movie, three black women starring it, going somewhere. Like I was nervous, but I think it was when that scene came that I was like, okay, this is different. This is
Yep.
different and this is good on its own, So,
Hmm.
gosh, yeah. It's so good. I'm tearing up just thinking about it. So can
I
we just move
It's
know.
too late. I'm already crying.
Oh my gosh, it's been like 10 minutes and we're already crying. If that's any
So letting you know
indication.
this movie has impacted us
I
spiritually in its
know.
own.
I know. Well, let me ask you a different question, but still related to this.
Okay.
Would you do a women's retreat like this with the digital detox and the connecting with nature and the cabins and the calling on the ancestors, like all that? Would you do this with your girlfriends or by yourself? Anne?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it's like you don't want to do it, but it's like after you signed up and you're actually there, you'd be like, I'm so glad I'm here. Like this is
Right.
amazing. Like I needed this.
Right.
It's just the part of like, would I actually sign up? Because I know if like someone signed me up and I was there, I'd be like, totally have a
Into
blessing to
it.
receive that. Oh yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
the digital detox would be a little bit hard, but I've done it before, like on a weekend kind of thing. And then I was totally fine. So I would like to think that I would have the have the what's the word? the I don't know, fortitude to like sign up and like do it, you know, within myself to be like, yes, I want to do this. I need to do this. But I know that if I went, I know I would get a lot out of it. I mean, there's
Right.
just so much you know, we need to be still and to be quiet and to be, you know, we just have so much going on constantly. I just feel like in our society, it's so needed to like slow down and think and breathe and just,
Mhm.
you know, and just kind of be, and that would be like an amazing place to do that and be with other people, as well. So I would say yes. I would I would do a retreat like this, and hopefully it would be received well by myself.
Yeah.
I think you'd love it. What about you, Bree? Would you do something like this?
Okay, I would, but here's the thing. I I would be so nervous what are the ancestors about to tell me about myself. And they're like, "We've been watching you and you need to get it together, baby girl." Or I can hear my great grandfather, he called my gram sis, like, "Okay, sis, you need to get it together." So but the character that I feel like I saw myself so much in was actually Eva, and I don't really feel like we got a lot from Eva, but just as,
Mhm.
like, a mom and, I'm literally finishing up grad school, like, in the next 2 weeks and, having did the military and now I'm transitioning to a new life. I've been a stay-at-home mom since 2019. Like, I really, really resonated with her. Um,
Mhm.
I do wish that we could have seen, like, how she was handling disconnected from her family. Like, the whole time we were
Yes.
watching it, I was like, how is she mentally just okay with not being able to hear from her kids or reach out to her? I feel like I would
Yeah.
be going nuts, and that would be I feel
Yeah.
like I'd be so refreshed in the end, but the first few days would be a struggle for me. Like, did Jace get up and brush his teeth like he knows he's supposed to do? And,
Right.
is Kason making his own noodles? And is somebody making sure he doesn't burn the house down? Like, I'd be worried about those things. But I would absolutely love to do it. I feel like it would be rewarding. But again, those ancestors, they're watching, and I
Oh,
don't
they'd have
know.
some things to say. They would
Right.
definitely have some things to
Mhm.
say.
Oh yeah, to all of
Um
us. I
to all
mean,
of us without
yeah.
Definitely.
question. And you're right, Bree, like a week, they were there for a week. A week is a long time
Yeah.
to be
Some
kind of
days.
immersed in that, like incredibly healing, but also, intimidating to kind of focus on
Mhm.
yourself and what you want. Like, we're so distracted in this life. And I feel
Mm.
like sometimes we use that as an excuse to not look deeper and not look within. So it's really scary when they're like, hey, we're going to drop you on this island and you have a week to like be with yourself and your thoughts and figure out what you really want to do. That prospect can be really scary, you know?
Dory, I agree 100%. I think most of the time we try to avoid any still time with our thoughts, thinking about, you know, our life, what we want to do, what we don't like that we've done, all in between everything. I think we
Mhm.
want to stay busy because we're scared for that moment when the thoughts come and we're trying to think and
Mhm.
reflect and go
Yes.
deeper in ourselves. And so that is very intimidating, you know, to be like, yeah, you're gonna be alone with nature, no phone, no distractions, just you, your thoughts, and these women, and yeah,
Good luck.
exercises to think about. Yeah.
Definitely.
Fans of the hit family drama Heartland know that Up Faith and Family is the only place to stream seasons 1 through 15 of Heartland, including hours of behind the scenes exclusive content. All 15 seasons of Heartland are available and ready to binge only on Up Faith and Family. If you love dramatic shows full of action and suspense, try the 2 new series Mystic and Hudson and Rex. Binge both shows anytime on Up Faith and Family. Watch new series and premiere feel-good films like Finding Love in San Antonio, which debut first on Up Faith and Family. Go to upfaithandfamily.com/hallmarkies today to sign up for your 14-day free trial. That's upfaithandfamily.com/hallmarkies to sign up.
What about you, Jazzman? How do you feel about a retreat like this? Would you be down?
I 100% will be down. I'm not gonna lie, because after the movie, I started looking up for trees. I'm like, can I find one just like
You
this?
would, Jazz.
I know that seems so on brand.
It
Like,
does.
I really would love to do something like that. Just like, I'm not gonna lie, was it maybe like a week ago? I accidentally left my phone here at home and went to work, so I was going with no phone. I didn't know who called out or not, and it felt kind of relieving a little bit. Like I didn't have my phone on me for those couple of hours. Like I had to check on Facebook or any social media, or my boss is probably texting me saying what the updates are or anything like that. But I would definitely love to do some type of healing retreat, connect myself with nature. It doesn't matter if it's by the ocean or with the trees. Something to help me keep me grounded, understand, where I'm at in my life. And this movie really did speak to me, like, where am I at in my life? Who are the three characters that I resonate with that, wow, like, I maybe need to slow down. I maybe need to sit down and go to a retreat and like really get my thoughts together, get my mind together, get my, physical, mental, spiritual life together. Like, where are you at this moment? And people will say blessings are in disguise, because we definitely got talked about what you call this assistant, because it was a blessing in disguise. We'll talk about her assistant.
Oh
Her
my
name's
god.
Stacy or something.
Yes,
She
Stacey.
is. Oh.
Stacey. We gonna have to talk
You
about
let
Stacey.
Stacy handle it. Yeah. But okay, so isn't it crazy? I was like, I know definitely want to hear Dory if you're going to do this, but I just was thinking as you were asking the question, like one of the first scenes that I was like, whoa, was when they get to the island and Samara is like holding her phone up trying to get a signal. And I was like, why is it so hard for us? Like, we all came from that generation. Like, we can all remember when cell phones became a thing. Like,
Right.
Mhm.
so it's like,
Yes.
I remember life before having a cell phone with me all the time. I really struggle sometimes as like an 80s baby, 90s kid. Like, why do you struggle with putting it down and leaving it alone? Like, what life was like before this was really a thing, but it's a struggle. And just
Yeah.
seeing that on film, it's like, wow, that would be us. And like, why is that a
Mhm.
struggle for us?
Yeah.
I know. I really resonated with that too. And I feel like I'm the type of person where I would pick the retreat, I would book it, I'd be ready. I'm like, I'm down. This is going to be great. It's going to change my life. And then as the bus approaches, I'm like, wait.
Hold up.
Anxiety is setting in.
What exactly? Like the walls are closing in. What did I just agree to? Am I really giving up my phone, all connection with the outside world, to look into all of these different facets of myself for a week? I'd be the one who was so excited in the bus, like, let's go, girls. This is going to be great. It's going to change our lives. And then as the bus stops and we're all stepping off, I'm like, oh no. Oh no. What have I done? That would be me. But I would do this in a heartbeat. I think it would be life changing. And I think that we so often don't, like Anne was saying, we go out of our way to avoid doing things that kind of put a spotlight on the things that we don't want to see. Even if we need to put a spotlight on those things to heal from them and move on, we still want to avoid it. um but yeah, and Bree, I'm totally with you. I remember not having a phone. And I certainly remember not having a phone where you could do a bunch of stuff on it.
Right.
Like
Oh
you couldn't
yeah,
text
yeah.
on it. Like it was for calls only. It took
You had
forever
to
to
go to the
text
music store and
someone.
get minutes.
Exactly. Like
Man.
you
Let's
weren't
talk
on
about
your phone that much,
Yeah, remember weekdays? Yeah, it was free after 9 p.m. Weekends was
Yes,
free
free
after
nights and
7.
weekends.
Oh
That's
my
the
We
only
God.
had
time you
Snake
were
on
on
the
your
floor. We had
phone.
Nokia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys, I
Y'all
never
remember
learned how
how
to.
we couldn't have the internet on our phone and you pressed it on accident? You had to close it real quick, like, don't get charged. Don't get charged.
You're like, please, that wasn't even a minute. That wasn't even 5 seconds, please.
One
And
of
you
my
remember the
biggest
most
regrets in life, I never learned how to play Snake, you guys.
Oh, we gotta get you a Snake. We gotta get you a Nokia phone.
Oh my gosh, the Nokia phones. And the most exciting thing was like programming your ringtone. That
Yes.
was the
Oh
most
yes.
exciting thing on the phone.
Let's see.
Look.
I can remember this. The last ringtone I recorded on my phone was 2007 when Jordan Sparks, our homegirl Jordan Sparks, remember you, girl, you had a great Hallmark movie last Christmas. Her song when she won Idol. Here's My Now. I recorded it on my phone, had it as my ringtone.
I
Oh
love
my
that.
gosh.
That is so Jazzman. Oh
That
my
is so you.
goodness. I freaking love that. And yeah, but now we like need our phones to be on the internet and check our email. It's just crazy. And we have videos and pictures and social media and all the things. So it's a different world, ladies. It is a
Yeah.
different
Yes,
world.
very.
But Bree, you brought up something interesting and I want to go back to it. I really want to know, like, who of the trio did everyone relate to the most? So Bree, you said you really related to Eva
Yes.
and her experience. So Anne, who did you
Oh
relate
gosh.
to?
Oh no. I'm not oh no. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
No, I didn't have one like when I was watching it where I was like, oh, I really, relate to this one. Like, it wasn't just coming, I guess, natural, I guess, for me this
Mm-hmm.
time. Like, an unthinkably good things it did for me.
Right.
Um,
Is
was
there
one
one
of
that you
those
feel like you'd be like
characters.
closest to? Because sometimes like I feel like I am watching and I'm like, okay, I'd be her. But then sometimes I'm watching and I'm like, oh, I'd probably be closest to this person.
Yeah, I'd be her
Or you
friend.
mix of three.
Yeah. Or yeah, sometimes I think it's a combination of all of them too. Yeah.
I feel like I'd be closest to Samara's character, I think.
Yeah.
Just because I am very like focused on my responsibilities and like what I should be doing, and very kind of like how she was like. I mean, for me, it's different, but how she was like so focused on her responsibility of helping take care of her mom and doing what she needed to do that. I'm kind of like that kind of person, very focused on those kind of things, and then I can forget about myself and the things I want to do and stuff like that. So I think that I definitely, in that kind of way, I definitely relate to that kind of part of her. Also, I'm just like, did they change her name to Samara when Tamara was cast? Because I'm like, that just seems, the chance of that happening just
I
seems
know.
too
It was
weird.
wild.
That too.
It was wild. I was watching and at first I'm like, are they saying Tamara or
Same
Yeah. I thought so
thing.
Yes.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, because it
I
really,
was
it's
thinking
like,
about that too.
it was a trick for your brain, because your brain like knows she's Tamara, but then it's like they weren't going Samara, so it's like they just kept saying Samara, and it was like you just felt like they were saying Tamara.
Yeah.
totally.
So yes, it was. Oh gosh, yes, Samara. That's right. Samara's character for me.
Jazzman, what about you?
Samara, 100%. Like, I felt like, she wanted to, pursue her dream, like, of her drawing and everything, artistic wise, because she do it at work all the time. Like, she wanted to be outside of her, I guess, her comfort zone of just being, she was so comfortable of just being in the financial, just moving up, but not knowing, like, she missed her first love, art. That
Right.
she got her, and I saw that when she did that dedication and when she, blessed her brushes. I'm like, oh my gosh, do I need to go bless my pens and pencils and stuff and notebooks and stuff? Cause I'm like, I need some healing too, because I want to get back to my first love, and I understand her completely. And then, the love part, that was definitely totally different. That was definitely, was kind of a bonus though, but it was just the fact that they were focused on these three women and their personal journeys coming out of in their own healing. And for me, Samara, she actually spoke to me. I'm like, wow, like 100% wanting back to my craft, wanting back to writing and doing the things I want to do. And this movie really just spoke to me in that sense.
I love that. Bless those pens, girl. Bless those notebooks. We'll do it on
That's
Zoom. We'll do a
right.
ceremony for
Okay.
you.
Don't put the
Yes.
notebooks in the water, but
I was thinking the same thing. I was
we
like,
get
maybe don't put the notebooks in the water and maybe sprinkle water on the pens. Like you
Okay.
don't have to dunk them. But we can figure something out. You can maybe spray them with a spray bottle. We'll
I was thinking
see.
that
We can
too.
figure something out. We'll figure something out. I feel like I really related to Samara too for all the reasons you stated. And I also felt a connection to Renee when she was, especially at the end when, and we're going to get to this later, but she and Eva had that falling out and they were kind of, they were they had a fight at this retreat, and then when they reconcile, she's explaining kind of how she feels because she has this hair salon, and she wants, and Eva was a investor in it, but she wants to own it outright.
Mhm.
And she's explaining to her, like, you all have your things, like I want to have that thing that's my own, you know. And she's been
Yeah.
searching for the thing that is her own and makes her special and that she loves. And so she wants to own her salon outright, and she wants to be a mother, you know, whether that's single, doing it as a single mother, doing it with someone. And I really related to that kind of being, she says that she doesn't have family really, and I'm not in that space. I definitely have family around me, which I'm very grateful for. But I do really relate to the kind of wanting to carve out your own place in the world and to like
Yeah.
do things your way, you know, because there's your family of origin, right? But then the family you create is equally as important. And, you know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
wanting that, I related to her kind of wanting that and wanting to do it her way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I most related to the two of them.
I think the thing
Um,
about Renee that I love, and I was thinking it really hit me as you were talking about her, is like everybody in the movie talks about how she makes other women feel beautiful.
Mm,
And
yes,
how we
yes.
tend to forget that the person that gives so much of themselves to
Mm.
everybody else, sometimes they're lonely. A lot of times I
A
think they're
lot of
mm,
lonely.
times,
wow.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah. I mean, for anybody that's like, "Oh, I didn't wanna watch it was 3 black leads, I would," this is like a movie for every woman. Like, I don't know,
Mhm.
you can either see something in yourself in one of these characters, or like I said, you could be like, "Yeah, I'd really be close to this person." I just think they have so many traits individually and as a unit that is just so identifiable and relatable.
I
I'm
know.
gonna dash
I
it. I'm gonna
totally
dash a Renee
agree.
to mines. I felt that. What Bree said, I felt that. I'm gonna dash Renee with that. I
Yeah.
felt that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really glad that you articulated it that way, Bree, because you're right. Like that is for every woman who takes care of everyone around them and
Mhm.
neglects themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's okay to want for yourself. And I
Mhm.
really love that message. Like it's okay to want for yourself. And in fact, it's like vital that you do have desires that are purely your own for you, that make you happy and that make you whole. So,
Yeah.
yes, 100% love that. So I want to switch back really quick and talk about the setting. We talked about it a little bit at the top of the podcast. How did you guys feel about the low country setting and the representation of Gullah culture? What did you think of that, Bree?
I thought it was beautiful. I don't know. I thought back to this class I had to take for my bachelor's, and we had to, you could pick or whatever. So I did one on like Latin America and then one on Africa. And it's like, there are still places in the world. It just reminded me, like, there are places in the world where people still live just as the ancestors did hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Right. And there was this question that we had of like, I don't know, some people would basically say, you live like savages. And it's like, but aren't we the ones that kind of do? Like, we feel like we have to have more and bigger and shinier. And like, these people are happy and content living on an island, fishing for themselves to make sure that they eat and like all of that, you know? So I don't know, I really loved the location and kind of what it represented. Like, just simple. Like you don't have Wi-Fi. You're not, you're not back home in Kansas City or whatever where there's all this traffic and lights and all. You're just like, it's just simple. And I love when I see things that make me question, like, am I doing too much? Like, do I have to
Mhm.
live the way that I'm living, you know? So
Mhm.
I don't know. I thought it was beautiful. And I just really appreciated that they chose that setting for this story for sure.
Agree. Jasmine, how'd you feel about the setting?
This was a different take because we seen some Hallmark movies. They shoot it either in North Carolina or South Carolina, with different stories they depict. But seeing it from a different culture, different, aspect, and seeing it from a different cultural region. Because it's very little that people talk about the Gullah culture, but the fact that representing it to a new audience to give out more information, for people to look into it like, oh wow, this culture is still thriving after how many decades, how many hundred of years,
Right.
and they're still thriving. Because the island's still thriving to this day. And like I remember talking to my great aunt about this because she would always look at me before she passed away a couple of years ago. She was like, you know what? It's weird because like you're the only person on the West Coast because I'm the one who speaks. I think a little Gullah, like not purposely, but I talk so fast that all my words blend. So when I get excited, she's like, just slow down. Like some of us still in the South, we still speak it. Whoever lives still in the South area, but like I see it. It reminds me of home a little bit. So when I kind of see that, I'm starting to understand what my aunt was saying. I'm like, oh wow, like we got it a little bit as a kid watching it, on Nick Jr., getting that representation of it though. But now seeing it from an adult standpoint, I'm like, wow, like there's so much we need to discover, so much we need to learn still and present it to, our next generation because the kids don't know until we teach them and show them in film or in books. And honestly, I'm glad they chose this opportunity to showcase and to educate about the Gullah culture, the traditions, everything in between, how people go and get education and still come back and be able to help their community still.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Anne, how'd you feel about it?
I'll be completely honest. I know very, very little about the Gullah culture, and when I was growing up, we didn't have cable, so I have not seen this show you guys are talking about. On
Oh, we about to
Nickelodeon.
send you the
We got
link.
you, man. We got
Yeah.
you.
Yes. Okay.
Adding it. Yes,
send
adding
it
it to
to
my
me.
to-do list right now. And send Anne first. We'll start you with the theme song,
Okay.
and then we'll get you some good clips.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
When you're ready to watch the series, let us know. I got the link. I got you.
Oh my gosh. But I enjoyed seeing the representation and getting to see, hear like some about it and some about the culture and just the I don't know, it made me intrigued. It made me want to, learn more about it. And so I definitely want to, to do that because I enjoyed what I saw. And I love like when, we just see Vancouver and, all these cities all the time. So I love when they actually are in a place and they're actually shooting on location at the place where they're supposed to be.
Yes.
So I really enjoy seeing like a different setting that we don't usually get to see. And just seeing just so many beautiful Black people. Again, that's just something I always love to see, especially on Hallmark. It's an extra special treat. So yeah,
For sure. And I think you don't even realize how a simple shift of location can really change the whole vibe of a movie because even as we were watching when they're on the boat and there's that great aerial shot of a boat and you're seeing the water and all of the trees as they come off the boat and everything, you're immediately transported to that place, like things are slower, you're breathing different. I thought that I loved the way they set up the location visually. I thought they did a really great job with that. In my family, my dad's side of the family is Creole, and they're from Louisiana, a small town called Natchitoches, Louisiana. That kind of deep South culture, there are some similarities there. And I also, but similar but different. And I remember we had one family reunion where we went to Charleston, and for part of it, we went and kind of explored the Low Country and Gullah culture, and we did a tour and we ate some really amazing food. And I mean, I think that I loved that we got that representation in this movie, and I could have used some more. Like, I really could have used some more.
I wanted to hear some Geechee being spoken.
I know, same. Like, I wanted some more explanation, some more history. Not a ton, because I know how it is in these movies when they can, like,
Yeah.
really go hard with that, and it can take you out of the movie. But I thought there were opportunities where they could have like explained a little more, given us a little bit more of a taste of the culture, but I
Yeah.
did think this was a good introduction.
Yeah.
So I'm
100%.
down.
And I think
I'm
that's
down
where
for
like kind of
sure.
the double-edged sword comes in, because like on one hand, I'm really happy that it was three women, but then it's almost like there's so much going on, and there are things that you want more of. But like Anne said earlier, like time is such a constraint, and it's like when you're doing so much, there's just stuff that's going to be left
Mhm.
out. But like the elder, like when they were doing the basket weaving, I was like, well, maybe she'll speak, and like she'll speak in Geechee so people can kind of understand like the significance of this location, like such a big part of it. But yeah, I it would have been so cool to just see more of that, I think.
I think so too. I totally agree. And you're right. Like I sympathize with the plight of one thing that I'm getting from these movies, like this more the Mahogany movies and now Girlfriendship. One thing I'm getting is that they are trying to accomplish so much because we've never had this chance before, and it almost feels like we have to throw all this stuff in, like we have
Yes.
to explore these themes, we have to, it has to center three women because we want three different perspectives of like the
Mhm.
experience of a Black woman,
Yeah.
and it is beautiful and I love it, but it's also like we are just, I feel like there's this sense that like, man, we are on borrowed time here. Let's,
Yes.
let's
Throw everything in the
throw
kitchen sink.
everything, exactly, like let's throw everything we can into these movies because we don't know when we'll get this opportunity again. And you can feel that,
Yeah.
there's a lot in this movie, and I have a question about it that we'll get to in a second about the relationship aspects of this movie and kind of the last quarter of the movie. I think some storylines suffer because they're trying to do everything, but I
Yeah.
understand why they're trying to do everything and I sympathize with why they're trying to do everything. So I'm kind of two minds about it. But yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But I also wanted to chat about kind of thematically. So now this is we talked about To Her with Love, we talked about Unspeakably Good Things. And while this isn't technically a Mahogany movie, there is a Mahogany tie-in that we will discuss.
There
But
Mm.
is.
thematically, are you seeing any kind of like similar themes throughout the movies we've covered or similar messages? Like I'm kind of sensing a lot of similarities in these movies, which I really appreciate. And I'm wondering if you are all
Okay, tell
picking up on
us.
the
You go
same things.
first.
Yeah, I was
Tell
gonna
us.
Okay.
I
say.
want to know. I have an idea, but go first.
Okay. So I just keep getting this sense of Black women in particular kind of being almost at war about the life that they are supposed to live and the life that they want to live.
Mm.
And what it means to live authentically, but to also take care of what needs to be taken care of in your life and to also be able to provide for yourself. Like there's very little wiggle room, it's like
Yeah.
you need a job and you need to work, and but you also need to live a life that's kind of authentic to you. And to do that, you have to take chances that are often scary because the world is not always kind
Yeah.
to
Mm.
Black women in
Yes.
particular. And it is harder as a Black woman to fall and have to pick yourself up. It is scary to put your trust in a world that doesn't always have your back. And I just, in all of these movies, I kind of get the sense it's like a lot of these women are on the path of what they should do, but what they want is kind of like tapping them on the shoulder and whispering in their ear. And it's like, how do you find that balance of doing what you want to do but also doing what you need to do and kind of finding a happy life? So that's what I keep seeing in these stories, and it's something that I appreciate, and I also think it's something that a lot of Black women can relate to. I really do.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
my thought. I don't know if you guys have other thoughts.
I think I agree. I think that it's trying to show that I don't know. I think women all over the world, regardless of race, you just carry the weight on your shoulders, but especially for women of color, specifically Black women. I mean, as a Black woman, I feel like I can only speak for myself, but you know, I have you all. We were able to chat. I know we have so many similarities, but like I would love to go to a retreat, but I am a mom of 3 and gosh, I don't wanna get emotional, but I do have 2 Black sons, and living in America, y'all already know where that is going, so I don't think I would ever actually be able to do that, to just turn off. I mean, my oldest is 12, my youngest is 7, and every time something happens, I'm just like, I question everything. Do we live in a safe place? Do we live okay, I want them to have freedom, but, like, I don't even let them, like, walk to and from the bus stop by themselves, and it's right down the street. So, I
Mhm.
think that these movies do a wonderful job of just showing, like, realistically, the world's like, "Hey, you need to chill out. You need to have time for yourself," but also showcasing how that is hard for us.
Yep.
Yeah, the struggle of that. Yeah.
Yep.
And I agree, Dory. I hadn't really thought about it, like, but you're saying that, and I'm thinking about all the characters, from the past 2 Mahogany movies, and then Girlfriendship, and I definitely think that that is a common theme, and I definitely think that relates, specifically to Black women, in a certain way, as and I don't know what it is, if it's just that you know we just take our responsibilities very seriously because doing what we're passionate about seems like a privilege, and it seems
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
just like a privilege, not like something we should pursue. We should be more concerned about you know
Right.
making sure we go to college and get a good job to support our people, and make sure that we do that well, because maybe that wasn't done well in parts of our family or people that we know, and we want to make sure we come through for that. And then it's like, but doing what we love is just some privilege that it's just this unattainable thing, and that's really sad, and but I do definitely think that Black women have that struggle, um, yeah, and I'm not sure if that's why, but I think that could definitely play into it.
I think that's an amazing point, and because it also comes down to us, I think, thinking sometimes, do I deserve this? Like, do I deserve to take a chance like this? Do I deserve to be selfish and put myself first for once in this situation or this scenario? I think that's very real. Like, am I worth it to do this? So often our worth is tied up in other people and other things, and like Bree said, that is, I think that would be a common refrain for all women everywhere in a lot of instances, but Black women in particular, for sure. So I think that was beautifully said, Anne.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind the scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Anyone else want to add anything? Jazzman, do you have any thoughts?
Let's see, my thoughts. I think for me, they're giving us real authentic stories within a fiction movie, but also being real, because I could say I watch a lot of Hallmark movies or either movies and mysteries, movie and mystery, they give you like the real tearjerker moments, and realism, and make you think and understand. But the fact they're doing on both platforms is kind of saying, you know what, these may be stories that we love to watch, these rom-com, but they also want to give you history. They want to give you like real authentic things that sit in your mind to manifest and say, wow, like, am I really seeing this character in me? And I'm not saying it's probably a negative thing about it, but it's just saying we are real men and we're a real woman from all different backgrounds. We all may struggle though, but this is our story. I think they want to tell our story. But I know there's probably some fun stories that are definitely going to come up, but they're just hitting it right, left and right is boom, 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 like in like this, how I want to say it, in A1, tier of like, I'm giving you our authentic version of our stories written by us for us, but also educating the masses around us and other culture. Because when they were doing the basket weaving, it kind of reminded me of Native American, how they do basket weavings in their stories, how it's kind of similar how they do their basket weaving. I'm looking like, wow, we're all the same culture, but we all have different traditions within what we do. But I just love the fact that, like, I did see the parallels of how, like, there's 3, women, but hopefully we'll see some men coming up. Hopefully we get some men.
Oh, I'd love a bros trip. Yes.
Yes, for
I would love to see
sure.
men. Like, let's give us some men. Like, if Lance available, 'cause I know right now he's in Florida.
Lance, Antonio. I want Antonio. Where is Antonio Cayenne been?
I'm just saying, like,
I am a Antonio stan, okay?
Yes.
Me too. I love him.
I'm ready for it. Like, they're giving us these women though, but I know for a fact that they're going to give us some men stories. I'm ready for that. Give us some men
That would be
perspective.
so cool. Yeah.
They're just showing off with the women, but I know they're going to have some men stories coming up, and because Hallmark, they do men's stories, sometimes, but just seeing it from the different perspective. I want to see the guys, how they deal with their problems with their love lives and stuff, how they find love.
It's true. I think that the guys have kind of been lesser roles in the first 2 Mahogany movies and also in Girlfriendship. So it'll be interesting to see how I'm just very interested in seeing how this franchise of movies evolves and how the storytelling evolves, how the themes evolve. Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see where it's going. I feel like these first movies have been intense in a way and very emotional, and so I hope that we get, a diversity of different stories, because I know we would all love to just see a fun, fluffy rom-com too. Like, that would be great too. So it'll be cool to see the evolution of this.
It feels like they're really leaning into, like, in the book world, what we call women's fiction. Like, it feels like they're really leaning into the women's fic right now, and I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it either, and it's been a pleasant surprise, because normally I'm a rom-com romance girl, but a little women's fiction every now and then never hurt anybody. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying what they're doing. But now I need to switch to probably what I'm most excited to talk to everyone about, which is the last quarter of this movie. And
let's do it, because I have thoughts.
I have thoughts too.
I'm ready for it.
Okay, because I feel like I had whiplash once the last quarter of this movie happened. I was like, wait, how did we get here?
I am so glad you said that, because I was like, am I stupid? Like, they're gonna hate me because I'm gonna be like, what happened?
No, you were not alone. I was completely blindsided. I was like, wait, what am I like? I'm watching a totally different movie from the first hour and a half that I just watched. It was wild. So, Bree, I'm going to start with you. What were your thoughts on kind of this last quarter of the movie and like the conflicts that seemed to appear out of nowhere? Like,
thank you.
How did you feel?
Period. T. That was it. I was just like, where is this coming from? Okay, so when the girls get in the fight, I was like, where's this? Again, this is the double-edged sword. I love that it's 3 women of color. I just love that it's 3 women, but you're not giving us enough to understand that moment. So when Samara sits down and she's like, "You're acting like Eva right now," and it's like, what? I don't understand. And
Right. What
then,
does that mean?
right, what does that mean? And it just felt out of nowhere. It felt kind of bratty. I didn't get it. I did not like it. And then I don't know if we're going to talk about Kareem and the conflict with him and Samara later,
Please
but that
speak
one
on it.
too, I was
Speak on
like,
it right
about
now,
that.
Bree. Speak on it.
Come on.
I did not like. Okay, first and foremost, I had no idea that Kareem was baby girl's dad. Had no
Me
idea.
either.
Oh
No
yeah,
clue.
no,
I honestly
zero.
thought the way that it was set up, I thought Renee was going to start considering adopting her because y'all remember the
Same.
scene
Me
earlier.
too. Me too.
So that shocked me when he walks in and she's like, "Hey, Papa." Like, what? Okay, cool, fine, nice little surprise there. But then for him to be like upset because she wants to go to college and leave, which I understand, but again, we're just now learning that like he's her father, so this makes no
It
sense.
feels, yeah. Mhm. Yes.
It
So I'm
felt
done.
completely
It was unexpected.
out of the blue.
Yes.
And that fight that they have, Samara and Kareem, was shocking to me. Like the way he talked to her, I was like, where is this coming from? This guy has
Right.
been chill this entire movie, and now he's like angry and
It was a big
blaming her.
shift.
It was a big
Yes.
shift.
Yeah,
How did you
okay.
feel about it, Anne?
I guess because of everything that is happening in the world as we know it these days, I'm really just it just happens to be it's at this time, but I'm like, I'm really tired of people being like, okay, well, I didn't pursue my dream, or I had to do it this way, so you do too. Please, everyone, stop. No, that is not. You should want better for the other people, for
Especially your
younger
children.
generations, especially your own child. I'm like, you should want her to not do it the way you did it and pursue her passion, pursue her dream. And so when he was coming at Samara with like sharing basically like that she should, do that and she should go to college and pursue that. And he was like, oh, but no, but she needs to stay here and she needs to, do this because that's just a side thing. And I was just like, what? I'm like, you're her dad. You're supposed to be like her greatest supporter.
Yeah.
At least let her go to college and give this a chance. And if, she really can't, make it work, then maybe you can like talk to her about it. But like, you need to be her supporter. And so it was just so weird. It was like he shifted into this other person, and then we had just found out he was the dad. So it was like we weren't ready. And then it was a lot, but I did not like that conflict.
Yeah.
I also didn't like the conflict of Renee. Is it Renee? Yeah, Renee finding the hair and then just going off on this complete. That was
Right,
also
that was crazy.
that was
so
also
bizarre.
odd. It was like this
So
whole
bizarre.
part was so weird, and I was just like, I don't understand what happened. What's
I
going
know.
on?
It was like the movie completely shifted. And not only did she find the hair, she took some of it and put it in her purse.
And
What?
she's like showing everybody. Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Girl, he had a girl in his cabin. I found her hair in a brush.
Yeah, she
That
wanted the
was
proof. It
wild.
was weird. It was.
That was
Oh my
wild.
gosh.
Jasmine, how'd you feel about this kind of final
Girl.
quarter of the movie?
Girl,
I
it was one thing when the girls were arguing about their little thing, but the whole, like I said, the child part, I did not expect that at all. Kareem, he has several seats. Okay, your child got a full ride.
Full ride, Jazz.
Yes.
Full ride.
ride.
And full to
Mhm.
Spelman, HBCU.
Yes.
Mhm.
I remember the fourth wall. Your wife's Autumn Ryder, who directed this film. Yes, like she go get her degree, come back when she ready to do some art and stuff for the Gola experience for
Mhm.
culture. Like, don't pass no free education. Anybody listen
Yeah,
down
that's
there?
insane.
Your child gets a full ride, paid in full. Send your child to college. Please.
Amen.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast. My name is BJ.
And my name is Me Too, and we promise this promo is worth it, so please don't skip ahead.
We're two judgy friends who put our judgmental skills to work for you. We review the pilot episodes of new and popular shows and shows that our listeners request to answer your question, should I watch this?
Look, a lot of us are spending a lot more time at home, and yes, we should be reading and trying new projects and enriching ourselves, But does anything beat binging a great show?
Let us take the guesswork out of deciding what your next show will be. Tune in to The Pilot Podcast at thepilotpodcast.com.
And
That is free money.
especially if that's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if that
Yes.
is what they are passionate about and what they want to do.
Exactly. It's not the parents being on them, but it's like their actual passion. Yes, you have to let them do it. Especially if they get a full ride to the school.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to put you into debt. Like, are you crazy? Like, yes.
Shoot, the first time I got was $250. And no, before that, like literally, that conversation though was definitely 180. Was not expecting that at all. You're getting mad about. I'm like, first of all, that ain't even a woman. Like you over here, like trying to like make your way to beat her, man. But they're kind of like you don't know Samira's full story, why she had to give it up. Like you heard a little bit of her story, but the fact that why she had to give it up to take care of her mom, to have a career, like she wanted to do that her passion her whole time to paint. But she saw, at that time frame that she could do it though, but now she can after, talk about at the end of the movie though, but no, he should never came on her side with like that. For real.
No. And the way he put this woman, who he has known for a week, into a disagreement with his child was wild. Like, who is doing that? Who is like,
toxic.
You know what? Let me get your opinion. I know you just found out that this is my daughter, but I want your opinion on what she should do with her entire life and her future. And if you don't agree with me, I'm going to ice you out and kick you out of my house. What? It was crazy. And it felt so unexpected.
Yeah.
It just felt so different.
It did.
That was an instance where I was like, okay, we should have just had this as a movie where somebody gifted her a retreat and she went by herself and you nixed the two friends so that we could have focused more on this and we would have understood this moment. But being that that's not how this story was told, it all unfolds and you're just like, where did this even come from? I mean, again, like that fight with them in the and when they're sitting in the grass, I was like, we don't know enough about Eva to know that y'all feel like she's like overbearing and you don't like to get her advice and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know any of that.
And we don't know the inner workings of her business. We find out late that Eva is an investor in Renee's business. And it's like, it's very confusing. And there just didn't need to be all that conflict. Like the main conflict was really Samira trying to figure out what she wanted out of her life and how she was going to handle this promotion and how she was going to handle this presentation. And I really feel like the romance could have just been a supporting aspect. It didn't have to be. And I mean, the conflict is built in. She don't live there. That's the conflict.
Exactly.
That could have been the conflict.
And she's only there for a week. So times. Yeah.
100%. And then the friend conflict, I don't think had to be there. It just, I don't know. It was very, again, it felt like they were trying to kind of throw a lot of things into this movie and accomplish a lot. And it's just hard to do with these movies. It's really hard to do that.
It is. And this is, this was a definite like writing script kind of thing. The actors, they did what was written there. But I mean, it just seemed like the writing, it just took this, I don't know. It just took this total turn.
In my opinion, I feel like they had the script, but then if they got done with the script, they're like, wait a minute, we gotta add a conflict in there to like throw it off like any Hallmark film in the formula. Let me just throw this wrench in here real quick. These two, out of nowhere situations.
Oh, I feel like they was already on the formula because I mean, how many Hallmark movies have we watched where the heroine is up for a promotion?
Textbook.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like Dory, like you said, like there's already built-in conflict. She's there for a week. This is like, the coast of South Carolina. She's from Kansas City, Missouri. Like there's already built-in conflict. I just
Like, he's not leaving this island. We already
Right?
know because no one's allowed to leave. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, there's already the built-in conflict there. Like, we did not need to do all that. It just felt really crazy to me. And I was just like, what am I watching? And I'm really glad you all felt the same way. Because I was like,
No, I
am I
did.
crazy? Maybe I missed something. Maybe I fast forwarded a little too aggressively during the commercial. And so I missed something. I was just lost. It was
Yeah.
crazy. Speaking of this part of the film and the ending, how do we feel about the Mahogany tie-in and then the promotion situation? Because I have some thoughts about that.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. I was very confused by her presentation to work in like finance
Right.
creatively. I was
Right.
very confused about how a director of finance was like trying to work in the soulful summer theme. It made no sense to me. When she
Right.
pitched it back at the retreat, it didn't make sense. And then it really didn't make sense when she was in there giving the presentation.
And oops, the wrong slide is still there.
I know. I'm like, okay, yeah.
I was like, this is a lot of hoop jumping to get this Mahogany tie-in together. You know, like, I liked it in the end, and I like that we see that she gets a compromise, right? Like, she's working for this company that she likes, and instead of doing the business side of things, she decides that she's going to go into illustration, and she has a really supportive partner in that with the like hiring manager, HR, whatever.
Look, but that
was
just
lovely
came
to
because old
see.
girl was like, do you really want this job?
Yes, she was 100% like, do you even want to do this? I've been hoarding your finance reports with pencil drawings on the back for the past several years. Like, can we talk about your illustrations? It felt very forced to me. Incredibly forced.
Yeah.
Like, how can I work my
Ooh.
creativity into being a financial planner?
Yeah.
I was like, this is a lot for me. I don't know. How did you guys feel about it?
You know what? I just thought about, though, like something you said earlier about and this book, the whole show was about like obligations, right? So like here she is. You're up for this promotion. That's what society tells us we're supposed to do. So on one side of the page is like charts and graphs. This is what I should be doing. Like I should be moving on up.
Oh,
But on the
man.
back,
Yeah.
when you flip it over, is her drawing. That's her passion. That's what she wants to be doing. So I kind of dig it. But yeah, you're right.
I dig it too. I just I wish it made a little more sense. Like, I
Make it
wish
make
that,
I got it. I don't know. Maybe I got it.
I
Like, I
mean,
kind of understood because she had when she was doing it, she had two different presentations in mind. Like, the financial side of like the data of like this, but she's like, no, in order to fully dissect into another part of financial to get more growth, get more money, she developed this illustration of the soulful summer and another way to pitch it, and came birth through her retreat. And this is another way. So basically, she was like, I want this financial job to give you guys more money to develop this whole new side brand within the Mahogany brand. But at the same time, she was giving more of herself. Like, I really want to be the spokesperson for this. I want to be the one who's doing the illustration of it. And she put that to the side because of Cream's infamous, did not need that drama moment. We could have had a real presentation of it. But no, I got what she meant. It was like she was wrestling between the two. Like, do I do the charts and graphs of like this is how we can do it boring, or this is what we really need to set off this quarter to get the more vacation vibe of it, or the reunion side of it to bring that more money for the company. That's how I saw it. I blame Kareem. He messed up the whole presentation. Kareem messed up the presentation. I said what I said.
Anne, how did you feel about it?
I was about to say, I think I had like this weird thing in my mind. I was like, Hallmark, don't you dare. We know you love to do it. Everybody everybody can compromise and get what they want. I was like, this job makes no sense. Don't you dare let these people say,
Thank
oh
you.
yeah, you could have this job. I was so glad when she questioned her and she was like, do you
Yes.
want this job? Like the
Right.
finance job? Because I'm like, somebody needs to say that because that's not what she's,
That's not what she's
presentation
giving her
was.
presentation on. Exactly.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, thank God. I was like, okay, so they questioned her. Now they're like, okay, you can work here and do what you want to do. Like we can have that. You can have it all, but just not under this title. I was like, I was just so worried. So I was relieved that she questioned her because I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But that she could, use her talents at Mahogany, to do a totally different job in the creative like department. So that part I was glad. So yeah.
My hope in life is that is the real inside of Mahogany, and we got an actual glimpse into it because, I mean, my mom loves cards, so and we used to go to the Hallmark store all the time, and the Hallmark, like the Mahogany cards, are beautiful, and I was just like, I hope this is really it, and not like some set.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I know. We need to find that out. Were they on
Yes.
location? We
Yeah,
need
I
to
have to
know.
I'll ask Tamara that. That's an interesting question. So let's see. Dory, where can people follow you?
You can follow me at All the Feels Pod on Twitter or at Dory Benford on Twitter.
Okay. And what about you, Jazzman?
You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Shreem16, SHREEM16.
And Bree, where can people follow you?
I am at Bree unabashedly on Instagram, Twitter now, y'all. I changed my Twitter handle to match it. And I've been
Nice.
doing TikTok. I've been on there. It's not so bad. I'm there at Bree unabashedly as well, talking about books and stuff. So that's where you
Let
can
me
find me.
follow you, girl. I didn't know you were on TikTok. Let me follow you.
Over
Nice.
there, a few days.
A few days. All right. And you can follow me at awscott21 on Instagram and Twitter. And also, if you really enjoyed this movie, make sure you check out Rachel and I did an interview with Tamara. She said it's Tamara Mori Housley. I have to think about it because I've not been saying that.
Yeah.
It is. Yes.
Yeah, Tamara Mori Housley. And it's on our YouTube channel. And it's also wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can find it. And she also talks about her new Christmas movie. So you get to hear about her new book that she wrote, also Girlfriendship, and her new Christmas movie, as well as Sister Sister, and just what it was like to get into acting industry as a kid with her twin. So yeah, make sure you check that out. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. If you're listening on iTunes, please leave us a rating and review. And if you're listening on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We also have a Patreon group with monthly watch-alongs, and you can join for as low as $2 a month and get early episode releases. And we also have our merch store, which we're adding new Christmas merch right now, so make sure you check that out. That's with TeePublic. And yeah, ladies, this is really fun, and can't wait to do it again.
Yes.
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 All right, everybody. We'll talk to you in our next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.